and welcome to this week's What I've Learned Phys-Ed edition, episode 18. This week I want to talk a little bit about making sense of physical literacy. Now, this week I have spent a lot of time writing this blog post that I just released yesterday, sort of detailing my journey to understand physical literacy a little bit better. It's a blog post that I've been trying to write for a couple of months now and just haven't sort of been able to sort of get my head around exactly what I wanted to write, and then finally got it out this week. In other news, very exciting news the last couple of weeks, I recently became a father, so very excited and happy to welcome my new daughter to the world on March 22nd. And mother and baby doing really, really well, and it's just amazing to be a dad. I can't explain how much love that you suddenly have for this new thing that just enters your life. So super excited about that, and it has meant a few sleepless nights, but at the same time it's been incredible. So anyway, this blog post that I wrote about physical literacy, I sort of want to just share a little bit about it here, and then you can go and read the blog post yourself, and it's going to be the first in a series of blog posts that I'm going to be writing about physical literacy over the coming weeks and months. So basically, my understanding of physical literacy at the moment has developed a lot over the last 12 months. Probably, like I say in the blog post, the first time that I heard of the word physical literacy, I was very skeptical about it. I thought that it was just another one of those buzzwords that was created in education to try and serve a particular purpose, and to be honest, I thought that it was the whole idea behind it was around the idea of maybe they were trying to get some sort of cross-curricular links between literacy, reading and writing, and PE, having students spell words with their bodies, things like that. I dug a little bit deeper into it, and I think probably the first thing that really piqued my attention about physical literacy was the videos, the Hands Up for Physical Literacy videos that were coming out of Ontario, and I've linked that in the blog post as well. And that sort of clarified my thinking a little bit, and I know that that's a video that a lot of physical educators out there have used to sort of advocate for physical literacy within their communities. But still, I think my understanding of it was more around the idea of students being competent and confident moving, and I was thinking more about fundamental movement skills, and the link between fundamental movement skills and physical literacy, and again, still thinking that the whole idea of physical literacy maybe was just another word for fundamental movement skills. It wasn't until I probably started to read some other blogs by other physical educators out there that I started to understand that physical literacy was something bigger than that. It was something bigger than just fundamental movement skills or just physical education, or a different word for physical education. I started to understand that physical literacy could serve as the foundation of a physical education program. Now, if you read the UNESCO Quality Physical Education's Guideline document, you'll see there's a quote in there, and I want to read it because I don't want to get it wrong. I've got it here on my iPad, so just give me a second to load it. So in the Quality Physical Education Guidelines document from UNESCO, it says, physical education is the most effective means of providing all children and youth with the skills, attitudes, values, knowledge and understanding for lifelong participation in society. Now, this is an amazing quote, and I use this a lot of the time when I'm presenting and advocating for physical education, because I think that it really shows that it doesn't actually say that physical education is the most effective means of making people be active. It says physical education is the most effective means of making people participate in society and be good community members. So I think that shows the importance of physical education within society. That same document then goes on to say that physical literacy is the foundation of physical education. It's not a program, but an outcome of any structured physical education provision. It's achieved more readily if learners encounter a range of age and stage appropriate opportunities. Now, I think this really spelled it out clearly for me. When I read this, I understood that physical literacy wasn't something that you do. Physical literacy is something that encompasses everything we do within physical education. It's the foundation of physical education. It's the outcome of physical education. We want students to be confident and competent, moving in a variety of ways in multiple environments so that they develop themselves healthily. Now, another part of my struggle to understand physical literacy was around definitions. There are so many definitions out there about physical literacy. There's PHE Canada one, there's the International Physical Literacy Association one, I'm pretty sure that Shape America has one. The list goes on. There are so many different definitions out there around physical literacy, and it can become confusing. Now, there's a great blog post that was written by Lynch and Sukup debating about the idea of physical literacy, and maybe that word is actually confusing teachers more than helping them. I think that for me, I've really adopted the International Physical Literacy Association definition, which is physical literacy is the motivation, confidence, physical competence, knowledge and understanding to be to value and take responsibility for engagement in physical activities for life. Now that, to me, sort of spells out the whole my understanding of physical literacy at the moment. Now, one thing that I really love is the Canada, which is somewhere that I'm going to be moving in June, July, to continue my career and start a new life for our family. They have this fantastic thing which is called the Canadian Physical Literacy Consensus Statement. Now, all of these peak bodies in Canada got together and they agreed on certain elements of physical literacy, that if they were going to promote physical literacy, that they wanted to do it in a way that was going to make sure that everybody was using the same language. And it's a really, really fantastic document. It's linked in the blog post, so you can check it out. And one thing that they came out of was that there are 4 elements of physical literacy. They talked about motivation and confidence, physical competence, knowledge and understanding, and engagement in physical activities for life, which links really, really well with that International Physical Literacy Association definition. So those 2 documents really helped me to understand it a little bit better. Then I started to think about how can I put physical literacy into practice. Okay, it's all well and good to have this overwhelming sort of foundation of physical literacy of my program, but what does it actually look like on a day-to-day basis? So I started to read a little bit about that, and one of the papers that I came across was by my good friend Dean Dudley about his conceptual model of observed physical literacy. And he talks about physical literacy as this umbrella concept that captures the knowledge, skills, understanding, and values related to taking responsibility for purposeful physical activity and human movement across the life course, regardless of physical or psychological constraint. And he identifies 4 key elements. And those key elements are movement competencies, rules, tactics, strategies of movement. He talks about the motivation and behavioural skills of movement, and the personal and social attributes of movement. If you read that paper, he really breaks those 4 elements down into a really easily understandable way. So you can go and check those out, and it'll help you to understand how that actually maybe works within a physical education context. And he also provides the beginnings of a rubric, which he developed as part of that paper to try and set a framework for maybe how assessment of physical literacy could take place. So, all that being said, my understanding of physical literacy obviously changed from that idea of that it was just this buzzword to now it's something that I really feel that physical literacy is the foundation of my physical education programs and experience, and it also serves as my purpose. Basically, I want my students and my community, not just the students in my PE classes, but everybody within my sphere of influence, to become physically literate. And to help them to do that, I need to provide them with so many different opportunities to be active and to move and to think about the ways that they move and to build that movement vocabulary. It doesn't just stop in my physical education class. It goes outside of those gym walls. It goes outside of that school gate into the wider community. So that being said, I've sort of broken it down into 4 things. I have those 4 things similar to the consensus statement and similar to the definitions, where if I want to be successful, if I want my students and my community to develop their physical literacy, then there's 4 things that I'm looking for. I want them to be confident in their ability to move and be active. I want them to be competent, moving in a variety of ways in a variety of environments. I really want them to have knowledge and understanding, and I want them to be thinking movers. I want them to solve problems as they move. And the last thing is that I want them to value and take responsibility for taking action and to move. Not only just moving when somebody tells them to, whether that's in a PE class, but actually valuing being active and enjoying being active and enjoying moving and enjoying socializing and seeing movement as a social construct. So I think that if I can really hit on all of those 4 things, that I'm going to be providing the students that I teach and the community that I serve the best opportunity to be able to develop their physical literacy. So that's sort of how my thinking around physical literacy has developed. And like I said, over the next few weeks and months, I'm going to be blogging more about those 4 areas. The next blog that I'm going to be doing is about confidence and how I'm helping my students to develop their confidence and how I'm actually tracking and assessing whether their confidence is improving. Then we'll talk about skill competence and building movement vocabularies. Then we'll talk about having knowledge and understanding and developing thinking movers. And then finally how we can get students to value and take responsibility and take action on wanting to be active and wanting to move. So it's a work in progress. It's something, like I said, that my thinking is developing and will continue to develop as I learn more and read more and experience more and teach more, with physical literacy being the foundation of my physical education program. So like I said, if you want to read more in detail about it, if you go to the blog iPhys-Ed.com, so iPhys iPhys-Ed.com/blog, B-L-O-G. You'll see the blog Making Sense of Physical Literacy. You can read it. There's plenty of links in there. There's resources, and you can find out a lot more about my journey to understand physical literacy. So for this week, that's what I've learned about physical literacy. Actually, that's what I've learned about physical literacy over the past year, but for this week, that's what I've learned. I really hope that you've enjoyed reading the blog and watching this video. I really thank those people that take the time to both read the blog and to tune into all our social media channels and read it. If you're interested and you want to make sure that you don't miss out on any future content, please make sure that you sign up for our mailing list. You can do that at the website. If you just go down to the bottom of the page, there's a sign up form there, or just contact us on social media and we can get you signed up. That way you'll make sure you never miss out on anything. Also get some special deals on our shop and things like that. So thank you so much to everyone. I hope everyone has an awesome weekend. I'm looking forward to it. And until next time, I'm Nathan Horn from iPhys-Ed.com, and everyone stay happy, stay healthy, and stay active.